Welcome to our channel, where we explore the most chilling real-life horror stories. Today, we bring you the eerie tale of The Haunting of Shadow Lake. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more spine-tingling stories. Now, let's dive into the darkness of Shadow Lake. In the quiet, picturesque town of Shadow Lake, nestled deep within the forests, the serene waters hold a dark secret. For years, locals have whispered about the ghostly figure seen near the water's edge, a figure of a woman who met a tragic end decades ago. The lake, beautiful by day, transforms into a place of terror by night, drawing curious souls who often leave more terrified than they arrived. It was a hot summer night when a group of friends, Emma, Tom, Sarah, and Mike, decided to camp by Shadow Lake. They had heard the stories but were eager to debunk the myths and enjoy a night under the stars. Laughter echoed through the woods as they set up their tents and started a campfire. The cool breeze off the lake was refreshing, but as the sun dipped below the horizon, an eerie silence settled over the area. Emma, the most adventurous of the group, suggested they take a walk along the lake. With flashlights in hand, they ventured out, the beam of light cutting through the dense fog that had begun to form. The lake's surface, once calm, now seemed to ripple with unseen movement. Tom, always the skeptic, laughed it off, claiming it was just the wind. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. As they walked, they began to hear faint, sorrowful cries. Sarah, the most sensitive to the supernatural, felt a chill run down her spine. "Do you hear that?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The others paused, straining to listen. The cries grew louder, more desperate. Mike shone his flashlight towards the source of the sound, and they saw her, a ghostly figure standing at the edge of the lake, her white dress flowing as if caught in an invisible current. Emma, trying to keep her composure, called out to the figure, but instead of a response, the apparition turned and looked directly at them, her eyes hollow and filled with an indescribable sadness. Panic set in, and the friends began to back away. The figure started to move towards them, not walking, but gliding over the water's surface. Back at their campsite, the fire had died down, casting long shadows around them. They huddled together, trying to make sense of what they had seen. "It must be a trick of the light," Tom insisted, though his voice lacked conviction. Suddenly, the cries returned, louder and closer. The ghostly figure appeared again, this time much nearer, her face contorted with anguish. Desperation took over. They packed their belongings hastily, but as they were about to leave, the figure blocked their path. She raised her hand, and a gust of icy wind blew through the campsite, extinguishing their flashlights. In the darkness, they heard her voice, clear and mournful. "Help me." Emma, feeling a surge of bravery, asked, "Who are you? What do you want?" The ghostly woman's eyes locked onto hers, and a flood of images filled Emma's mind. She saw the woman's life, a young bride waiting for her husband, who never returned from a fishing trip on the lake. Heartbroken, she had wandered the shores, calling out for him until she, too, met her end in the dark waters. Realizing the spirit was trapped in her sorrow, Emma whispered, "We'll help you." The ghostly figure nodded slowly and began to fade. The air grew warmer, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted slightly. The next morning, the friends visited the town's historical society, uncovering the tragic story of Lily, the woman they had encountered. They found her grave in a neglected corner of the cemetery and decided to clean it, leaving flowers and a promise to remember her story. That night, back at the lake, they held a small ceremony. As they spoke of Lily and her lost love, the air felt lighter and the lake's surface calmed. The ghostly figure appeared one last time, but this time she smiled, a look of peace on her face. She nodded in gratitude before fading into the mist, finally free from her eternal sorrow. From that day on, the haunting at Shadow Lake ceased. The friends left with a deep respect for the legends of the past and a story that would bind them together forever. Thank you for joining us in this chilling tale. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying real-life horror stories. And remember, some legends are real and some spirits just need to be set free.